Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1992 Acura NSX. Behind me is a 3.0 liter V6, and down below is a 5-speed manual transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this NSX for two reasons. First of all, I love the NSX. I think everyone kind of loves the NSX, and this is a very special one. This is red over an ivory interior. The ivory interior was not a very popular option, and so we're going to be looking at one here today. The second reason I'm super excited is that this is actually my third NSX that I've driven. I've done a 98, a 99, and now an earlier 92. This has the smaller 3-liter V6 as opposed to the 3.2 liter that I've driven. And so we'll be talking about some of those differences because it might be more than what meets the eye. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. The owner of this car belongs to E3 Storage in Atlanta, Georgia, a member-based DIY garage and storage facility. E3 members can work on their cars, use a lift, store their vehicle, or just hang out with other enthusiasts in a club atmosphere. E3 has locations all over the country, so please go check them out with the link in the description below. But let's get back to that 3-liter V6 behind me. Well, as I mentioned, it is the smaller option. The later cars got the 3.2 liter, which did bump up in power and made it a little bit nicer of a driving experience, but this is a VTEC engine, which was kind of the calling card of the NSX. Not many vehicles from Honda had VTEC at this time. Now, throughout the 2000s, pretty much everything got VTEC, but this is something special, and the really nice thing is how smooth this car is. Everyone kind of forgets that. The VTEC you don't feel, it's not this kick in the chest like you might think. You just see a little dip in oil pressure and you go faster. That's it. And that's what makes this car so special. Also, the engine has titanium rods. It's a really well-built engine, and that's why it's the poor man's Ferrari. Although, you kind of have to be a rich man to afford one. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said, paired to it is a 5-speed manual. Absolutely lovely throw into gear. It's super friendly. It's super easy to drive. And looking at an NSX, seeing it for all that it is might be pretty daunting. And I'm totally with you there. But actually driving it, I might as well be in a 96 Civic. It's so easy. It's light. And it's just fun to drive. And that shifter really helps out that feeling. Last but not least about the drivetrain, it of course is rear wheel drive. So how does it feel to drive an Acura NSX? Well, the earlier one actually doesn't have power steering. They later got power steering, which was a nice livable option, but this one feels a lot more analog and you do feel a lot more connected to the road. The earlier model, although it makes less power, actually feels a little bit sportier. It has a little bit harsher of a ride than the later years. So very, very interesting to feel that. Visibility isn't great, but it is kind of a sports car, supercar, so to be expected, and the ride quality is here or there. Now, the one thing with the manual that isn't very great is that the second gear is actually really, really tall. Second gear will take you to 80 miles an hour. So bombing around town, you're not going to have all that much fun shifting because they're really tall. Now, this was a higher performance car. This wasn't one that you would, just buy your son to take to high school. So that is something to be noted. It's so smooth. You don't notice what you're doing until you're doing it. Oh man, it feels otherworldly. It feels like there's this godly force just whooshing you along as opposed to an engine with cylinders and explosions. It doesn't feel nearly as coarse or as volatile as gasoline. Ew, sticky, gross. It honestly, at a certain point, obviously not fully, but to a certain point, it almost feels electric in the way that it just goes. There's no fluff, no butts, no coconuts. It just goes. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 6 gauges. Off to the left is my coolant temperature. oil pressure and tachometer, and off to the right is my speedometer, fuel, and battery voltage. On the steering wheel, we have our horn buttons. Have you ever heard an NSX horn? Now you have. And we also have our cruise control options. To the left, we don't really get anything because the door actually kind of swoops into the dash. This was a very popular 90s design trait. And we have 2 climate vents, lock and unlock, and our power mirrors and windows on that door card. So very, very interesting to see that. Moving into the center, we do get a digital clock, 2 climate vents, our climate controls, pretty simple there. Our Acura Bose cassette player with our bass and treble adjustment. And the radio down below that, tune, AM, FM, some favorites and things like that, but nothing too crazy. We also do get an ashtray and cigarette lighter. And the shifter. The shifter is pretty nonchalant. It's not anything crazy. It's not wowing you. It's not trying to impress you. It's just a simple Honda shifter, and I love that. Off to the right, we do have our parking brake, and then we have this very interesting phone setup. I don't know if this was a factory option in 92. It certainly was the era to have a car phone, but this is a car phone. Very, very cool to see that. And then we have our NSX dual overhead cam VTEC badge on the center console. Now, sadly, there are no cup holders, but I am not worried about the big friggin' bottle when driving my NSX. Then we get to the seats. Now, you can also see the ivory on the bottoms of the door cards as well, but the seats is where you really notice it. I think it's an absolutely lovely interior color, but I could understand why this wasn't a popular option, especially with the red. It kind of has that Miami Vice kind of feeling. And a lot of the ivory interiors came on black cars, or came in black cars. So very cool to see that option here. Now, speaking of the seats, we don't have any back seats. We'll do a little trunk review real quick, but then we gotta talk about the looks. So in order to pop the trunk, there's a little button right there on the door. Now, this is the hood. You actually lift this up, and that's where you'll find the engine. However, behind that, you actually do get some trunk and cargo space. There you go. Pretty sizable, pretty manageable, especially for an exotic vehicle like this. You could probably fit a golf clubs in here, and I think that's what they were kind of going for with this. Very, very cool to see the amount of space that you get. I'm very impressed. That's the trunk of an NSX, if you've ever been curious. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and it is lovely. It's an NSX. It has pop-up headlights. It is just gorgeous. It does look kind of like a Ferrari, and I can now officially say that, having driven a Ferrari. It looks so special, and this was the halo car for the Acura brand that Acura needed. Back in 1992, Acura was only a few years old, and so they needed something to push that brand forward, and this was that driving force. This was the engine that brought Acura into the mainstream and put posters on kids' walls. The video of Ayrton Senna driving an NSX in a pair of loafers is synonymous. Every kid wanted one, and a car coming from humble beginnings that could beat old man Ferrari. Now that's something special. That's something to take note of. And that's what this car was. Let's get on to my final thoughts. I already started talking about it. I was so excited to talk about it. I love the NSX. I cannot describe to you in words how smooth and beautiful it is to drive. It's not really driving a car. It's kind of a ballet dance. And I think the 92 does it better than the later 98 and 99s that I've driven because of that manual steering. It feels more like a relationship. I'm not demanding where this car goes. I pleasantly ask where this car goes, and the car either says yes or the car says no. It's a relationship being built as opposed to a boss and employee. And man, it looks the part, it drives the part. These cars are simply lovely. And I think that's what some people just don't understand. And I've been so fortunate in my career now to have driven 3 of them. And I'm really starting to learn the intricacies in and out. I learn what they can and cannot do. It's like jumping off the diving board. The first time you do it, you're just trying to hold your breath and pray that you hit the water. But now by the 3rd time, I'm starting to get comfortable in one of these. I'm starting to push these NSX limits. And so far, the limits are far away. Farther away than I could ever give it. Just into this corner. Right on power. Absolutely lovely. What a machine. What a beautiful, docile, forgiving, lovely, sensational, savory machine. I guess one more for the kiddos at home. Oh, even that downshift. Crisp. You did good, Honda. You did so flippin' good. I'm the most lucky man in the world. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Benson for letting me borrow his NSX for today's video. What an amazing look at a car that I loved, but now I just love so much more. He is absolutely awesome. Please go check out his information found in the description below because he's just one of the best. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.